It's China, of course. So I'm going to talk about some books. I'm going to get the DVDs and stuff, like reviews and doing that. But I need to figure out what I want to do with it first, so I'm going to stick with books for a little while before I do that. I'll talk about some movies a little bit, if they tie in with the books, or if they even remind me of something. Just how I go off on tangents. But the first book I've got here today is Cold Mountain by Charles Frazier. I've read this book once, and it was a long time ago. But, so I'll talk about the movie a little bit. They go, so, it's about Ada and Inman, Ada Monroe, and Mr. Inman, and, they fall in love before he has to go off to the Civil War and away from Cold Mountain. And so he leaves, and she waits, and she goes through hard times, because with the war going on, money ain't worth a shit. And she goes through hard times until Miss Ruby with the eyes that sparkle comes and helps her, which is one of my favorite characters in the book, Ruby. And my other favorite character is Philip Seymour Hoffman plays the preacher, very immoral preacher, but you can't help but laugh at him. That's the same with Ruby. But he's off in the Civil War, and he gets injured. He gets this letter from her telling him to come back to her, and he does it. Well, he tries, because he goes through hell, and we meet all these minor characters mostly through him, which is cool. And you meet some minor characters through Ada, with Ruby's dad, and then Georgia, who's played magnificently by Jack White, who is an awesome man. And the movie's great, the book is great. But, so if you've not seen Cold Mountain, which you might not like love stories, if you don't, that's fine, that's not a big deal. But if you do and you've not seen Cold Mountain, you've been missing out. The Notebook is not the greatest love story, even though it is great. Cold Mountain's the greatest, that I know so far. If you know a better one, let me know. But the next book I got, and I usually don't read, I don't know why I picked this book up, but it was pretty good. But it's Why I Wore Lipstick to My Mastectomy by Geraldine Lucas. And they actually made a Lifetime movie of this, starring Sarah Chalke. I saw the previews, but I didn't watch it. I used to be a hardcore Lifetime watcher, but I didn't watch the Why I Wore Lipstick to My Mastectomy. But I'm sure it was good. Maybe I'll catch it on someday. But that book's usually not my type of book, but I figured I'd try it out. I gotta get out of my comfort zone every now and then. But it was really good, like her talking about what she was going through with chemo and radiation and stuff. It really makes you think, and like she was some high class kind of lady too. It can hit anybody, so make sure you get your exams done. I'm like the poster child for the health department now. But yeah, make sure you do that though. Keep a check on that stuff, because it's scary. And I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. Oh yeah, I woke up not long ago, so this situation going on up here, sorry. But the next things I got were comic books, because I will get comic books. I used to read like X-Men all the time. But the next ones there's 5 as a whole. And I got Zombies Christmas Carol. This is the first part. I've not read these yet, but I'm going to get to them, because they look really awesome, as only zombies can. And then I've got the second one. I'm going to pick up 3, 4, and 5 here soon, and I'm going to read these and check them out. But they looked pretty cool, so I had to get them. And the next book I got, last video I said I really wasn't into teen books, which makes no sense for me to say that, because I really love coming-of-age stories. So I'm going to check out teen books like crazy now. I'm going to check them out and see how they do. Which, one book I read a long time ago, which I really liked, was Speak. That is a really good book. And they made a Lifetime movie of that as well, starring old unemotional Kristen Stewart, who I like. She's the same character in every movie, but I kind of like Kristen Stewart, because she's always awkward, and I love that. But this book I got was The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. I'm looking forward to reading this book, but it's not the next book I'm reading. But after I read the next one, I'm going to start on this. And then I guess The Dead Tossed Waves comes after that. Not sure, but a lot of people recommended this, and I've seen a lot of other people, um, talking about it, so I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick that up and read it sometime. And the next book, because I love this movie, and I'm going to read this sometime, is The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson. The movie was good, so the book has to be, like, even better, I would say. Not much to say about that. Everybody knows The Amityville Horror. James Brolin looked cool in that movie, too. And the next one I got, I wish it wasn't the movie cover from the new movie here, but, well, I love Will Smith anyway, so that's cool. It's alright. But this book was $1.25, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to get it. But it's I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. And I can't wait to read this. I've had so many books in so little time. You know how it is. And you can only read one, well, you can read a few books at a time, then you have messed up dreams. I'll tell you that. But I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Oh, yes. And, actually watched a little bit of The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. Who wouldn't want to hear that man talking throughout a whole movie? Vincent Price is the shiznit. I'm just saying. The next thing, oh, let me ask you guys. I found this at a flea market, one of those places like that. I don't know what it's called. I forget right now. But does anybody remember these? These little things, these little books as you read, it'll show you the picture, and then you press it. See, like there's a boo, and then you press him, and he makes the little noise as you're reading along. I like this one. I found this, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting that for my baby, which I think I play with it more than he does. But but I had, when I was younger, I had a Barbie one, of course, and she was at the beach with her sister and Ken. Why was Ken the only man? I never saw any other men. But if you remember these, let me know, and let me know which ones you had, because these are pretty. God, they don't make these anymore. Not like this. Not like the Disney ones like that. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, well, that's pretty neat. I'm going to see if anybody else had one. And then the next thing I've got, this is regular $40 in the store. And I found it for $17.95 in a magazine. It is the WWE Encyclopedia. This came out in 2009 is what it said, I believe. And it's got my favorite wrestler in it, old Chris Benoit. Mentioned him before. I was very surprised at that, because whenever that stuff happened with his family, the WWE completely, like, dropped him out of the, everything. Like, records that he held, they don't mention him. They say somebody else, the next person in line. But this is awesome. Like, I know a little bit about wrestling. I've not been watching as long as some people, and I don't know all the history and who held the title at what time, but if I want to learn, it is in this book. If I want to learn who won what WrestleMania, which match, it's in this book. So if you're a fan of wrestling, you need to get that book. If I could remember what magazine that was I found it in for $18, I would let you know. I'll try to work that up and think about it and see if I can figure it out, because, I mean, it's worth the $40 too, but if you can find it cheaper, do it. Okay. And then I finished Dying to Live by Kim Paffenroth. Really good book. I got it for $2.75, but whatever you see it out for, if it's $10, you get it, because it's really good. There's one, well, the main character's name is Jonah, the one that's actually telling the story. His name's Jonah Kane. And he got to this place where there's a little community that's made themselves, they're getting stuff done, working and keeping the zombies away. And he meets some really cool people there, especially the leader. His name's Milton, and he has some kind of special thing about him that kind of, you gotta read to find out, but it's pretty cool. I thought that was neat. My favorite part of this book, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you about it, because there are other great parts. The whole book's great. But there's this man, Frank, that they find in a hospital. A few of them go out and looking for supplies, and they find him in a hospital. And this man's actually made a scaffold bridge from his apartment to the hospital, because it's not really that far away. And they find him with his newborn baby. He actually went to the hospital. and set that up so he could get formula and diapers for her. But they get them back to their little camp out thing, their museum that they've stuck themselves in and barricaded up. And they ask him what happened to his wife. So this is the story he tells. He says they were walking home from getting baby supplies because they knew the baby was coming in a couple of weeks. And there was a crazy man coming at them, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. Before they could do anything, he bit Frank's wife. Frank is the guy with the baby. And so they get home, and they start watching the TV about the outbreak. And so they figure out what's going to happen to her. She's going to turn into a zombie. So the next morning he wakes up and she's got a pot of coffee made and a knife sitting beside her. And she tells him that he's going to have to deliver their baby. And he's just freaking out. He doesn't know. And before he knows it, she slits her throat, her own throat. And so that kills her, maybe. And so he tries to cut her belly, but he doesn't even really break the skin that much. That would be hard to do, is to deliver your own baby by C-section yourself. But then she gets back up and lunges at him to bite him. Of course, she's a zombie now. And he backs away, and she stops and starts sniffing the air. And it's because there's a baby in her belly who is not a zombie yet, so it is closer prey. So she sniffs around in the air like an animal. I could picture this as I was reading it. It's so crazy. And she starts ripping at the place he made in her stomach and rips her stomach open, grabs the baby out. She starts grabbing all the other nasty stuff out, like, all that nasty stuff. But then she grabs the baby out and looks at it, is getting ready to eat it. And he said he was frozen. He couldn't do anything until the baby cried, and then he knew he had to do something. This was his baby. So he went over and killed the zombie. I just thought that was a crazy scene. She's just sniffing around the air, and then he's going to eat her baby. Oh, crazy. But he saves the baby, of course. The book was really, really good, like the end and everything. And it's not one of those books that you get bored with. It keeps going, not just with action, but with people telling their stories and stuff. I like that a lot. But yeah, if you ever see this book, Dying to Live, Kim Passenroth, you get that book, because it's really good. And the next book that I'm going to read, I decided, is Overwinter by David Wellington. Not because the lady has my name, well, maybe a little bit, but because I need to read something besides zombies for a minute here. I think I need to get out of my zone a little bit and read about some werewolves or something. But if you I'm gonna say, if you've got book recommendations, you let me know in any book, not just zombies. I said zombies last time, but if you've got teen, biography, fiction, like dramatic fiction, love stories, anything like that, if you've got anything to recommend to me, I will try it out and read it. But yeah, if you've got recommendations, you let me know, and I will try to get to it and read it or check it out and whatever. And so I guess I'm going to shut up, and please comment, subscribe if you like me. I'm pretty likable sometimes. And I guess I'm going to jump off here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment, like. See ya.